let's discuss the solution now. I think only 2-3 of you have got the answer. Rajesh, Sony, and I think one more person. Let's discuss this now. So all of you can stop trying it now and focus on the solution. Here we go. So this question was posted by Ayushi Gupta. See what it says. There are some persons who are sitting in a row and facing north. The distance between each of them is equal. Right? The number of persons who sit on the left side of E is one less than the number of persons who sit on the right side of E. So if you compare this with the usual questions that we solve on linear arrangements, we are given the number of persons at the beginning itself. But in this particular case, we have some mentioned. There are some persons who are sitting in a row. How many persons? We do not know. There are some persons who are sitting in a row, and the distance between each of them is equal. Now the number of persons who sit on the left side of E is one less than the number of persons who sit on the right side of E. Now this is a very important piece of information, right? If we can fix the position of E and find out the number of persons either on the left side or on the right side, then it becomes very easy for us, because the total number of persons here is important, right? Read the next statement. Anyway, we cannot use it immediately, but then if you have to represent this pictorially, what can be done? The number of persons on the left side of E is one less than the number of persons on the right side of E. So on the right side of E, if you have n persons, on the left side of E, we'll have n minus 1 persons. Just remember this point, right? N persons on the right side, n minus 1 persons on the left side. Next, there are more than 2 persons between Q and T who sit to the left of W. There are more than 2 persons. Again, usually we are given the exact number of persons, but here it says there are more than 2 persons between Q and T. So between Q and T, we'll have greater than 2 persons. Greater than 2 persons between Q and T. And moreover, Q and T can be swapped. It can be Q, let's say 3 persons are there, Q dash 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 T or T dash 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 Q. Okay. Move on. Q sits on the left side of X. Q sits on the left side of X. So Q would sit on the left side of X. Meaning if X is here, Q will be on the left side of X. Right? That's another point. Then F does not sit at the extreme ends. Alright, F will not sit on the extreme ends. We can come back to this later. There are 4 persons between P and E. There are 4 persons between P and E. P and V. What does it mean? Between P and V, we'll have 4 persons. So it will be P dash 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 V or V dash 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 P. Okay, meaning P and V can be swapped. Who exactly is on the left and who's on the right is not known. Right? Then there are 2 persons between R and W. So there are 2 persons between R and W. You know, always easy to make such representations. R dash dash W or W dash dash R. Neither M nor N is the neighbor of X. That again is important, right? F does not sit at the extreme end was 1 point. Then neither M nor N is the neighbor of X. There are 4 persons between W and Z who do not sit to the left of E. Right? There are 4 persons between W and Z. 4 persons between W and Z. And it says who do not sit on the left of E. Who do not sit to the left side of E. So these points are all important. I think we should focus on this when we are trying to do the arrangement. There are only 2 persons who sit to the left of X. Now this is, I think, a very concrete piece of information. There are only 2 persons who sit to the left of X. So I now know the starting point of the arrangement. I would start with this point. For me, this is the starting point. There are only 2 persons on the left side of X. So let's say if X is here, there are going to be only 2 persons on the left side of X. How many persons will be on the right side of X is not known, but on the left of X, there are going to be only 2 persons. So I can now start fitting these points, fixing these points in the arrangement here. Okay. There is 1 person between E and P. There is 1 person between E and P. So between E and P, we will have 1 person. Again, E and P can interchange their positions. Yeah. P is the immediate neighbor of X. Okay, E is not the immediate neighbor of X. E is not the immediate neighbor of X. E is not the neighbor of X, but P is the immediate neighbor of X. Now P is the immediate neighbor of X. See, we already have X fixed on the arrangement. Right? We have got 3 positions so far. 1, 2 and 3 where X is the 3rd person. What we know here is P is the immediate neighbor of X. Meaning what? P and X will be together. P and X are going to be together. But it can either be PX or XP. PX or XP. So what I would like to do here is, maybe consider 2 possibilities. In possibility 1, take P on the left of X. In possibility 2, take P on the right of X. So let's take 2 arrangements. In the first one, let me take P here. In the second one, let me take P on this side. Yes or no? So this point has been arranged now. See, all these pictorial representations now have to be fixed here in both the cases. And we will figure out which one is right and which one is wrong. So the first part is done. P should be an immediate neighbor of X. We have considered 2 cases. P on the left of X here and P on the right of X. on the second place. Now that P has come on the arrangement, can we also use E? Because we know something about P and E, right? What do we know? There is one person between P and E. There's only one person between P and E, right? There's only one person between P and E. Now, if you observe, can E be on the left side of P? Not possible. Look at case 1. In case number 1, this is case number 1, this is case number 2. In case number 1, can we have E on the left of P? No, because there has to be one person here and then E, which is throwing him out of the arrangement. So obviously E has to come here. But this, I think, violates the condition given here. E is not the immediate neighbor of X. E is not the immediate neighbor of X. Yes or no? So case number 1 goes wrong here itself, right? Case number 1 cannot be true. E is not the immediate neighbor of X. Case number 1 is wrong. Now look at case number 2. Again, where can E come? E can come either on the left of P or on the right of P. But the same problem. If you take E on the left of P, E has to come here. But then E becomes the immediate neighbor of X. So you cannot take E on the left of P. E has to be on the right of P. E comes here. Yes or no? By taking E on the left of P, he becomes an immediate neighbor of X, which is not allowed. E is not the immediate neighbor of X. So E has to be on the right of P. E comes here. So now we have got 6 positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where we have X and P on the 3rd and 4th positions, E on the 6th position. Now I think the most critical point, like we discussed earlier, was the number of persons on the left of E is 1 less than the number of persons on the right side of E, which we have noted here, right? If there are n minus 1 persons on the left of E, there should be n persons on the right of E. Now count the number of positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 persons on the left side of E. If n minus 1 is 5, n should be 6. If n minus 1 is 5, n has to be 6. So if there are 5 persons on the left of E, there have to be 6 persons on the right of E. So put 6 positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this point has been done now. See, now we are in a state where we know the total number of positions. Only these things have to be fixed here, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions on the left of E and 6 positions on the right of E. Okay, so we have used this point, we have also used this one. Now, if you look at this point, it says Q comes on the left of X, right? Our representation is that Q comes on the left of X. Now, on the left of X, we have got only 2 places. So, Q can either come here or here. There are only 2 possibilities for Q. There are only 2 possibilities for Q. Okay? So, in one way, I think we have understood this point as well. What should we do next? Okay, look at this. We know that there are 4 persons between P and V. See, we have to find out what is already placed in the arrangement. We have fixed X, P and E. So try to find out information related to X, P or E. So here we have something with respect to P. What is it? There are 4 persons between P and V. Now can V be taken on the left side of P? No, because we don't have 4 places here. There are only 3 places. So V has to come on the right side of P. So 1, 2, 3, 4, V comes here. Yes or no? There are 4 positions between P and V. So this is done. Now anything with respect to V or P can be used. Nothing is given there. Alright. So R and W have got 2 persons between them. W and Z have got 4 persons between them. Yeah. But we neither have R nor W on the arrangement. Now I think do the second reading. We'll get some more clues. Right? There are more than 2. So we have used this part already. There are more than 2 persons between Q and T who sits on the left of W. Okay, so W is not available here. Q sits on the left side of X. This part is done. Q sits on the left side of X. F does not sit at the extreme ends. Remember, F does not sit at the extreme end, meaning F cannot come here or here. F cannot come in these 2 positions. There are 4 persons between P and V. This point is already done. There are 2 persons between R and W. Has to be fixed. Neither N nor M is the neighbor of X. See, one neighbor of X is fixed already, P. But next point it says neither N nor M is the neighbor of X. So N and M cannot come in this position, in the second position. N and M cannot come in the second position because then they will become the neighbor of X. Q can come, but N and M cannot come here. There are 4 persons between W and Z. There are 4 persons between W and Z who do not sit to the left of E. Now this is interesting. Remember, there are 4 persons between W and Z, as we have seen here already, but they do not sit on the left of E. Who do not sit on the left of E? Who do not sit on the left of E? Who usually represent to the preceding person. So if you observe, it says that W and Z will not come on the left of E. W and Z will not come on the left of E. W and Z cannot come on the left of E. So obviously W and Z have to come on the right side of E. There are 4 persons between W and Z who do not sit on the left of E. Who do not sit on the left of E. So they have to come on the right side of E. Right? And if you also see, W and Z should have 4 persons between them. The total number of positions on the right side of E is 6. So it's obvious that W and Z will take these 2 positions. Because then they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 persons between them. Yes or no? So either W or Z here and Z or W here. In between they'll have 4 positions. Right? I think that's what we can consider and proceed. Right? What else is given? There are only 2 persons who sit to the left of X. That has been used already. There is 1 person between E and P. This part is also done. And the last 2 points have also been used. Yeah. So I think the only way out is considering W and Z in these 2 positions. So this is either W or Z. This is Z or W. Right? Now that W is fixed, W is not exactly fixed, but we know the 2 possible positions of W. I think we can try to fix R, because what we know is, so let's say we have used this point already. What we know next is there are 2 persons between R and W. There are 2 persons between R and W. Now see, can you take W in this position? Can actually W become the extreme position? No, because if W comes here, R has to come in the place of V. Why? There has to be 2 persons. There have to be 2 persons between R and W. So if W is here, 1, 2, and R has to come here, which is not possible because V is already taken this place, which means W cannot come here. So Z has to come here, and if Z comes here, W comes in the other position. You're getting it? W and then Z here. There are 4 persons between them. Now use this point. There are 2 persons between R and W. Can R go on that side? Not possible, because if W is here, 1, 2, this has to be R, but this is already blocked by P. So take R on the right hand side. 1, 2, and R comes here. So this is also fixed. This is also fixed, right? Okay. What next? So there are 2 persons between R and W is fixed. Okay. There are more than 2 persons between Q and T who sits on the left of W. So again here, you know, it means T sits on the left of W. There are more than 2 persons between Q and T. So this point has to be used, right? There are more than 2 persons between Q and T, and T sits on the left of W. T sits on the left of W, or Q and T sits on the left of W. Either ways, see, the point is T has to be on the left side of W. W is fixed here already. W is fixed here. T has to be on the left side of W, right? T has to be on the left side of W. T has to be on the left side of W. Okay? So now if you try to use this particular point along with this one, if you use the combination of these 2, we will get the positions of Q and T. See, T has to come here on the left side of W, right? So T can come in this place, or in this place, or in this place. There are only 3 possible positions for T, right? It has to be on the left side of W. On the left of W, we have only 3 places available. But then we should also have the arrangement in such a way that there are more than 2 persons between Q and T. So for example, if you try with the positions of Q, if Q is taken in the first position, there have to be more than 2 persons between Q and T, meaning at least 3 persons. Minimum 3 persons have to be there. So if Q comes here, 1, 2, 3, and T can take this position. In my view, Q cannot come in the second position. We can rule out the second position for Q. Because if Q comes here, the only place where T can come is this. Then there will be 2 persons between Q and T. But there have to be more than 2 persons according to condition. And T cannot be a neighbor of Q also, because there have to be more than 2 persons between Q and T. So Q cannot be coming in this position, because if Q comes here, T can neither take this place, they become immediate neighbors. There have to be more than 2 persons, so they cannot be immediate neighbors. And T also cannot come in this position, because even in that case there will be only 2 persons between Q and T. So Q cannot come in this position. If Q cannot come here, then obviously Q has to come here. And if Q takes this position, then the only choice for T is this one. T cannot come in any of these places. So Q and T are also fixed. Right? Q dash 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 T. There are more than 2 persons. So this part is done. And this part is also done. Yeah? Alright, so I think 3 more places are vacant. 1, 2, and 3. And who are the 3 persons who have to come in the arrangement? I think we have to fix M, N, and F. M, N and F, right? These 3 persons have to come. Everybody else has been marked already, right? The only new names are F, N and M. Everybody else has taken place. See, what can be done? We know that N and M cannot be neighbors of X. So N cannot come here, M cannot come here. So out of 3 persons, if 2 of the persons cannot take this place, obviously F has to come here. F has to be the neighbor of X because M and N cannot be the neighbors of X. And then I think M and N will be taking these 2 positions in some order. We cannot identify which 2. I mean, what exactly is the placement there. Because no other information is given about N and M, right? The only place where we have a mention of N or M is this one. Neither N nor M is the neighbor of X. I am left out with 2 places for these 2 guys without any condition. So I think I'll put M/N, N/M. Nothing else can be done here, right? So M/N, N/M. Remember, I told you in one of the earlier videos as well that sometimes we will have multiple choices. So basically, we have got 2 correct answers for this arrangement. It can be Q, F, X, P, T, E, W, M, V, R, N, Z, or Q, F, X, P, T, E, W, N, V, R, M, Z. So depending on N and M, there can be 2 possible answers. But that's the arrangement. I think all the conditions have been satisfied. The only question mark that still lies is exact positions of M and N. Yeah. Let's try and answer the question now. I think Ayushi has also posted the questions. So let's look at the answers to those questions. How many seats are there between W and T? Number of seats between W and T. Count. W is here and T is here. How many seats between W and T? Only 1. So 1 is the answer. If the distance between V and E is 12 meters, find out the distance between F and W. Now that's an interesting one. The distance between V and E is 12 meters. The distance between V and E. Where is V? V is here and E is here. The distance between V and E is 12 meters. This distance is 12 meters. So he's asking us to get the distance between F and W. What would be the distance between F and W? What is this distance? Let me just clean it up a little bit. All these were possibilities that we had marked, so let me clear it up. You don't have to do this in the exam. I'm just doing it so that you can follow it easily. Yeah. Alright, so this question is on distance basically. Remember, I mean, the point given here was the distance between each of them is equal. They are placed equidistant. Now, distance between E and V is 12 meters. What do you understand by that? See, between E and V, we have got 2 persons. And if each person is placed equidistant, I mean, each pair of persons placed equidistant, I mean, consecutive persons are placed equidistant, then what will be the distance between every pair here? 4 meters, right? E to W 4 meters, W to M 4 meters, M to V 4 meters. I'm assuming this is M, right? So I think the distance between consecutive persons is 4 meters. Yes or no? E to W, W to M, M to V. 4 meters each, right? So I think distance is 4 meters. Simple observation, right? 4 meters between consecutive persons. 4 plus 4 plus 4, 12. So what will be the distance from F to W? Was the question, F to W. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 and 4. How many meters? 20 meters, right? 4. So this will be 4 plus 4, 8 plus 4, 12 plus 4, 16 and plus 4, 20. So the distance between F and W is going to be 20 meters. 20 meters, option 3. Yes. How many persons are there in that row? How many persons are there in that row? How many persons are there? I think 5 here and 6 here. 11 plus E, 12 persons. Don't have to count it actually, right? 12 persons, option 2. Who among the following sits third to the right of T? Who among the following sits third to the right of T? Third to the right of T, T is here, right side of T. First, second, third. Third to the right of T is M or N. Yes or no? All the persons are facing north, so right will be right side only. Third to the right of T. First, second, third. M or N. N, no. M, no. F, no. Either 1 or 2. Option 4 will be the answer. Either 1 or 2 meaning either N or M. Option 4 is the answer here. Right, so I think 4 marks in about 3 minutes, not more than that. So interesting question. The most interesting part, like I mentioned here, was that the total number of persons were not known to us initially, right? So as you proceed with the solution, you figure out that there are total 12 persons, and then you try to fill the gaps. But then the approach remains the same. Try to make pictorial representations of the given sentences and fit those pictures in the final arrangement that you have. You may start with one or two possibilities. Sometimes it may give you 3-4 possibilities as well, but don't try to take more than 4, right? I mean, that becomes very time consuming. So we start with 2. Very quickly we figure out which one is wrong, and then proceeded with the other one to get the final answer, right?